Was George Floyd murdered?
Yes. Um, what Derek Chauvin did to him was utterly unnecessary. I mean, George Floyd was very intoxicated. He was acting up. I find it very difficult to see from the videos whether or not he was resisting arrest. If anything, he seems to have been in a passive sort of way. He needed to be put into a police car and taken somewhere and, disciplined, fined, or something. For somebody to put, the knee on his neck and he's pleading for his life, yeah, I would call that a murder, and I'm not one for extreme rhetoric. What I think needs to be brought into it, though, is that Tony Timpa was murdered 4 years before with a knee into his back, with the same pleading for his life, equally unjustified, recorded. The cops got off. Same thing, and Timpa was white. We're not supposed to talk about that. And of course, more white men are murdered that way than black men, and sometimes women. You're supposed to talk about the fact that black people are killed by cops disproportionately to our numbers in the population. But then again, you can also say that poverty makes you more likely to encounter the cops, and black people are disproportionately likely to be poor for unpardonable reasons. That, like we're talking about, there are larger issues here that people are justifiably upset about. Too many black people are poor. But as it turns out, it's almost, the numbers on this are almost cosmically consonant in that there are black people are 2.5 times more likely to be poor and 2.5 times more likely to be killed by cops. I don't think that's an accident, and I didn't make up those figures. So what that means is that one may despise the cops, but to say that George Floyd was murdered because he was black, as tempting as it is to think that, given that that's the film that we're going to see again and again and again, it's very tempting to think that. It's not an accurate depiction of what actually happens. And we're in a technological moment where it's really easy to see the larger picture. The Washington Post has done a project that tells you exactly who's been killed year by year by year and under exactly which conditions at the push of a button. You couldn't have done that 10 years ago. And yet we're being foisted with a certain narrative. So yes, I would say that George Floyd was murdered. But the problem is that to say that it was because of his black skin detracts from solutions to America's problems that would float all boats, to use a metaphor that's gotten kind of stained. And what worries me about all